Good morning, students. Today we are starting the third unit in production and operation management, that is facility layout and plant layout, or facility location and plant location. Firstly, in the plant location, why we need to go for plant location or plant location? What does that mean? The plant location is a process of designing the optimal place at which the production plant can be established such that both the efficiency and effectiveness can be maximized. That means where the position of the production plant is a very important task to establish any plant for an industry in order to maximize the product profit and minimize the loss. So the selection of suitable place for locating a plant is an important decision which needs to be made by the business entrepreneurs before establishing a new enterprise. But these plant location is the either the machinery and equipment which is coming out from the other side, and the men and the material and money. These are the five elements. Based on these, we have to approach the plant location. And that means men, material, and money, and machinery and equipment. All these five, which brought together for setting a plant location or for setting a plant for a particular need of establishment. And a plant place, whether it's a cost of the product is kept to be low. So the plant location is also one of the major factor for finding the product cost. Actually, the product cost is to be very low so as to maintain or in order to achieve the maximizing the gains or profits. And whatever why we have to go for or a good plant location provides guarantee towards the success and contribution towards the smooth and effective working of any organization. And why we need to go for plant location or need for plant location? The need for selecting a plant location will emerges under any of the following conditions. One is if an entrepreneur starts a new business when the current business unit doesn't have any scope for expansion and it had outgrown into the original facilities. That means why what is the need of plant location means while we are starting the new company or new business, we have to choose a plant location. Second one, in order to extend the plant or extend the business, if you are not having the area or peculiar area for the establishment, we have to choose another area or another location to establish the continuity of outgrown of the original facility. Next, third point, when a lease expires. So, when the expire of the lease, when we make a contract of the land, or when we take the land for production in the When the lease expires and the landlord is not willing to extend its leasing contract, so in that case also we can choose the some other location to establish the new plant. And if the firm thinks that there is a chance of decreasing the manufacturing cost by changing from one location to another location, actually you can see from the location itself we can establish or we can choose the price. So if, let us take an example, the unit of or unit price of petrol, that is which is nearer to uh, the location of establishment, which is very low, but it is far away from the distance of the unit. The price of the petrol or diesel, it may be go for a high cost. That may be the distance traveled or what is the taxes related to the particular state. Okay, these are all the main criteria for the plant location with respect to cost of a product. And there can also be other economic or social reasons such as improper labor supply and change of market conditions for selecting the plant location. By selecting the plant location, it is very essential to consider all the economic factors influencing it. Okay. Then factors affecting the plant location. These are the steps involved in selecting a location. Before that, we are going for factors affecting the plant location. The following are the factors making the these are the factors affecting the plant location. Most of the cases, availability of raw material. So the raw material for the particular manufacturing unit, that will also locate decision also. That means the availability of raw materials is most important factor in plant location decision. Usually the manufacturing units where there is the conversion of raw material into finished components, it is the main task. Then such organization should be located in a place where the raw material availability is maximum, so that it cannot be transport from one location to another location. The charges or the supply charges will be increases. So the raw material availability is to be maximum, not the abundant of the and cheap. Next, nearness to the market. Okay. The nearness to the market means after getting the finishing or final components, uh, the finished component it has to reach to the customers directly, or it has to reduce the transportation cost, but it can render quick services to the customer. If the plant is located far away from the market, then the chance of spoiling and breakage becomes heavy during transport. So, if the industry is nearer to the market, then it can be grasped the market share by offering quick services. Next, availability of labor. Even though we are established full-fledgedly the plant in a exact location, but the workers or men, that means the availability another important factor that influences the plant location decision. It is the availability of the labor. A combination of adequate number of labor with suitable skills and reasonable labor that will wages highly benefits for the company. However, the labor intensive firms should select the plant location which is nearer to the source of manpower, where the transport facility in order to bring the raw materials to the firms or carrying the finished components to the market, the transportation facility it is to be very important. Hence, the transportation is not to be a very rural, it means the remote areas. We can't able to provide the transportation or by taking the roads. We have to be very clear about the transportation. Good transportation is there or not, or otherwise we have to establish a new transportation against the government sanctioning or not. Depending on the size of the finished components of raw materials, and a suitable transportation is necessary, such as roads, water, rail, or air. Here, the transportation cost is highly increases the cost of production. Such organizations cannot compete with the renewable currents. So, the transportation point is also very uh, good and a very effective thing to maintain the cost. Okay, then availability of fuel and power. Unavailability of power and fuel is a major drawback in selecting the plant location. Without the power, we can't generate or we can't perform any operations on any machinery. Nowadays, we are not only depending on the power, we are making the solar power supplies or backups. Okay, if the power supply is more, then we no need to develop another alternatives for the smooth running of the any production. So better to avail of the power supply and at the same time fuel which are necessary whenever the necessary for most of all the manufacturing units. So locating firms is nearer to the coal beds and power industries can highly reduce the wastage of effort and money and time due to the unavailability of fuel and power. So whenever the power is to be transmitted, we know that the power generation after that it has to go for a transco. From the transco, we have to make a grids grids of supply to our location. It is also a very much cost making process. So the system of developing the power and the system which is closer to the power that is a better unit for any production and availability of water. Depending on the nature of a plant, firms should have to give importance to the location where the water is available. Since most of the machinery which has to be of water coolant is required, water coolant and the supply of wastage through uh, the water, and there may be a canal and the finishing component it has to be testing with acids. So for that also we need a require the water or the labor or employability has to take a drink of water. Okay. With that, the main availability of water also. For example, if you take a power plant, hydraulic power plant that uses water to produce power, it should be located nearer to the water bodies or water supplies. Next, suitability of climate also. The climate is really an influencing factor for industries such as agriculture, leather, and textile. For such industries, extreme humid or dry conditions are not suitable for the plant location. Climate can affect the labor efficiency and productivity. And then the government policies. The government policies while selecting the location for the plant, it is very important to know that the local existing government it has to give such a policies for licensing and instructional financing and government subsidies and government benefits which are associated with the establishment of a unit in the rural and urban areas. And availability of finance. Finance is the most important factor for smooth running of any business. It should not be far away from the plant location. However, in the case of decision regarding plant location, it is the second important factor because financial needs can be fulfilled easily if the firm running smoothly. But it should be located nearer to the areas to get the working capital and other financial needs whenever we require. So the financial assistance either through banks or societies or financial institutions. Okay, these are all either maybe the government subsidies. Okay, these are all to be available to the company. Next, availability of facilities. Availability of basic facilities such as schools, hospitals, housing, and recreator clubs, etc. That can motivate the workers to stick to jobs. On the other hand, these facilities must be provided by the organization, but here most of the employees give the preference to work in the locations where all these benefits or facilities are available outside also. So while selecting a plant location, organization must give the preference to the location where it is suitable for providing other facilities also. Then disposal of waste. Just now we thought about the disposal of the drinking water or water supply after finishing of a major problem, particularly for the industries such as chemical and sugar and leather industries. So that the selected plant location should have provision for the disposal of waste. Plant location is the agreement arrangement of machines, working area, and service area within a factory. Then plant layout. The plant layout it involves development of physical relationship among building, equipment, and production operation, which will enable the manufacturing process to be carried on efficiently. A plant layout can be defined as a technique of locating machines, processes, and plant services within the factory so as to achieve the greatest possible output of highly quality at the lowest possible total cost of the manufacture. So that means so finally the conclusion is what are the factors will affect the plant layout? With that, we have to minimize the cost of an item and we have to increase the high quality and high productivity with the available resources. So for that, we have to choose a great location or an attractive location for the setuping of any plant. The object of good layout are as follows. It should provide overall satisfaction to all concerned. We have to provide the overall satisfaction to all the concerned. That means within the plant, we have to supply so many of workers and so many of functional operations are going on. We have to satisfy all the departments. Okay. Then material handling and internal transportation farm. That that will major effect to the minimizing and efficient control. So material handling and internal transportation to be from one location to another location is also a major factor. It has to be maintained. And the production bottlenecks and the points of congestion are to be eliminated so that input raw material and semi-finished products move fast from one workstation to another location. Since since when we are moving a component which are not smoother, that means the point the bottlenecks which are a point of congestion that will make cut off the remaining components while they are in transportation. So a major important thing is the bottlenecks. That means the very fine elements which are there that has to be very prepared and it has to be taken major caring while towards the transportation of the particular that related component, and it has should provide a high work in process turnover. It should utilize the space most effectively, maybe cubicle utilization. Cubicle means that is a cube means that all the four sides are equal. That means the cube is nothing but the square in six sides. That means all the sides are equally spaced. So that is called a cubicle utilization. The every corner and the every side is effectively utilized. And it should provide workers convenience and prompt job satisfaction and safety for them, and should avoid unnecessary investment of capital. So the investment of the capital is nothing but with respect to budgeting also by for establishing the new components or new machinery or whenever the requirement, it has to be not be immediate recruitment or purchasing of an order. It should not be the correct. The capital is always to be. Uh, it may be possibility of gaining a new component that is to be major priority to the work. So we have to utilize the existing components or existing machinery or human labor for all the purposes so that we can maintain the capital in a smoother manner. Otherwise, the unnecessary investment will be investment of capital will be there so that the production, the plant capacity of investment will be grow. So it may result the loss of the product cost. Then it should avoid the unnecessary thing, and we have to maintain that. What are the types of layouts? The types of layouts. The types of layouts are of process layout and product layout. The process layout is nothing but functional layout, and the product layout is called line layout. First one is, and the third also there, fixed position or location layout. In most of the cases we use a line layout and product layout only most of the cases. If all the processes, equipment and machinery all the processing equipment and machinery are arranged according to the sequence of operations of the product. It's a line. Okay, all the machineries and equipment are forming in a line of sequence. That means based on the sequence of operations. That is one of the technique after making the what is the requirements of production. That is in the design process. It is one of the stepping process. So after we have to follow the sequence of operations of the product, and the layout is called product type of layout. So according to the sequence of operations of the product, we will develop a plant layout that is called product layout. In this type of layout, only one type of product is produced in an operating area. So we will set up a room with order of operations. We have to produce a particular component according to the sequence of operation of the particular product only. We have to follow the plant layout. So for example, for producing a soap, what is this soap which is of rectangular shape? The same, for that we are preparing a room for the sequence of operations or creating the plant layout. So that room will only used for this type of or model or the material of the same, only used for the particular product only. So in the particular layout, we can't able to produce another model of the component which is producing in the same plant. Suppose if the plant has taken the new design and modified the design and producing in the same plant layout, it is not possible. Once again, we have to uh, produce. Sorry. Okay. Second, we have to reschedule the or rearrange the machineries as per the new component. So this is only one type of product is produced in an operating area. And the product must be standardized and be produced in the large quantities in order to justify the product layout. The raw material is supplied at one end and the line and the goes from the operation to the next quantity rapidly with a minimum work in the process. The storage and material handling which are all there. So the advantages offered by the product layout is lower total material handling cost, and there is less work in processes, better utilization of men and materials and machinery. Less floor area is occupied by the material in transmit and for temporary storage also. The greater simplicity of the production control will be there, and total production time is also maintained. Since all the machineries are set up in the same room or which are in the same order also, so no need of the men or extra men is not to be required. So all the systems are equipped in a single area, and the process is very simple. But limitations means no flexibility which is generally required is obtained in the layout. That means whenever there is any changes in the layout, it can't able we can't able to maintain the product in a smoother manner. Suppose if you change or if you replace the or if you reverse the machinery, it can't able to set. So if you see the diagram also, this is a diagram which shows the order of the machinery. If you see, these are all in a forming in a line. So the product layout is also known as a line layout. Okay. Then and next, the manufacturing cost increases with a fall in the volume of production. If one or two lines are running late, there is a considerable machine idleness and a single machine breakdowns and may shut down the entire process lane. So if any machinery was making any problem, so that with that machine we have to shut down all the production line, and the specialized and strict supervisor is essential. So he has to uh, rectify or he has to identify where the problem occurs and how the problem will be rectified with a lesser time. So we have to maintain a strict supervisor, but human labor, which are all not to be required more for the product layout. Next, process or functional layout. The process layout is particularly useful where the low volume of production is needed. That means the number of units are very less. We can use process or function. So if the production or the products are not standardized, the process layout is more low desirable because it has greater process flexibility than others. So further, the number of processes and the number of machineries replacement or the sequence of operations is not be able to good. So with the production cost of an item is also very high when compared with the product layout. The functional layout will develop a component which may be a peculiar one, but the cost is high since it is not following a particular route of production. So it is maybe depending on the since that is it is not following a standardization. So in this type of layout, the machineries are not arranged according to the sequence of operation, but they are arranged according to the nature of the type of the operation. So if you see here, the operation is not be the irregular process. Okay, the following diagram will shows the equipment or the arrangement of equipment and the operation sequence also. This layout is commonly suitable for non-repetitive jobs. Same type of operation facilities are grouped together, such as lathes, which will be placed at one place, all the drilling machines are at another place, and so on. So the number of machines are kept in a place. Number of same type of machines are kept in one place. That is process layout. There, the single process can be performed in a single location, but the depending on the product, it is called the product layout. The last one, advantage of process layout. There will be less duplication of machines. Thus, total investment in the equipment purchase will be reduced. Since for lathing operation, we have a one or two lathe machine. That is enough. But in product layout, we have to give a number of lathe machines and we have to number of drilling and milling machines so as to maintain the operations in a sequence. No replacement or no transportation or position changing of the equipment in product layout. Okay. Here, where is the what is the process for the machine or for the product? The same product is transported to the process location and after performing the operation on the product, from there it has to be transferred to another machine where there is a drilling or milling. It often it offers better and more efficient supervision through specialization various various aspects of the thing. And there is a greater flexibility in equipment and manpower, thus low distribution. That load distribution and better to work another machine work in the brake station. And the better utilization of equipment available is possible, and the breakdown of equipment can be easily handled by transferring work to another machine or workstation. There will be better control of complicated or precision processes, especially where much inspection is required. The limitation of process layout is there are long material flow lines and hence the expensive handling is required. The total production cycle time is more owing to the long distance and waiting at the various points. Since more work is in the queue and waiting for further operation, hence bottleneck occurs. So generally more floor area is to be required. Since work doesn't flow through the definite lines and counting and scheduling it is more tedious. So on the topic of the fixed layout, this topic we will discuss in the next class. So today we have discussed about the what is the plant location and what is the need for plant location and what is the factors affecting the plant location, either material, water, and power supply, wastage removal, raw material supplied, and transportation, and the land. Okay. Now, after that, what are the types of plant layouts which are available? That is process layout, and the second one is product layout, and the third one is fixed layout. This fixed layout concept we will discuss in the tomorrow's class. Okay. Thank you.